recently listening to Candace Owens interviewing Harvey Weinstein. The whole point of the series was to interview and see what the media are not talking about. And that's not why I'm doing this video, but that what occurred to me while they were talking is that, basically her premise, and if you listen to it, it's amazing. He wasn't doing anything illegal. A lot of people were lying, but what he was doing was immoral. And as he got down to it, and he's like, I am such an immoral man. I cannot believe how I hurt my wife, how I hurt my kids, blah, blah, blah. And I really, as being the friend of someone in prison and going to talk to and visit prisoners, it's really nice to hear someone admit their sins, admit their faults. And so I was thinking more about what is at the core of this. And I thought about the fact that if we would we want to get away from our sins, but we don't know how. And one of the things people appreciate from me, which is something I appreciate about me, because I was like, okay, I can't just listen to the bad. I need to have the practical explanations. How can I fix something? How can I change something? And so when we think about Harvey Weinstein, for instance, it was this inability to have this decision, he had very little self-control. And that got me thinking about the virtues. And I've spoken of them before, the 7 deadly sins and the opposite virtues that they work against. And so many of us want to get rid of our deadly sins. But in order to do that, what we need to do is actually practice strengthening our virtues. So for instance, if I say I just don't have a lot of good muscles, I can sit there and complain about them and notice, oh gosh, give me good muscles. But I'm not going to get good muscles unless I do the opposite, which is get off the couch. Or I go to the gym and do a lot of leg exercises, but I want strong arms. I'm like, Christine, you're not going to get strong arms if you don't lift weights in your arms. Well, virtues are lifting weights. And if you've got an area of weakness right now that you're struggling with, often you might think about what is the one you're having struggle. I'm a glutton. I hate my gluttony. God, help me to not be gluttonous. Well, that's a start. But instead of asking what not to be, you must actually seek to be the opposite. That is, go to the gym, like lifting the weights for my arm muscles. What can I do to not be a glutton? And the opposite of glutton in the virtues is temperance. So instead of asking what not to do, ask God, what can I do? Because it is a sin. You are still sinning. If you're a glutton or if you're overweight, and this is just me and you privately talking, I'm not listening to your family say, oh, you're fine. But if you're 300 pounds, other than some kind of a thyroid issue or whatever, right? But if just between you and God, you're eating too much, God, help me. Help me. I have a gluttony issue. Girl, I get it. I get it. I've had issues myself at times. But instead of saying, help me lose my gluttony, which is a focus on the vice, which is actually, in a sense, kind of giving power to Satan, or at least focusing on what Satan's doing. He's helping me to be glutton. I'm falling to that temptation. You fix your eyes instead on the solution. In order to not be gluttonous, I need to be temperate. And temperance comes from God. So in your prayer time, you're saying, Lord, help me to be temperate. Doesn't mean you can't eat the ice cream. I've got a girlfriend, she always yells at me. She's like, you got a fetish with ice cream. I'm like, no, not really. Not really. But when I want to lose weight, I have to recognize that I've got to stop eating ice cream. Now, it doesn't mean I should stop for the rest of my life. It just means if you want to lose weight, eat less of it or eat it less frequently. So it's not just about food, right? Are you gluttonous with shoes? And your closet's filled with shoes that you can't even wear all the time. What is it you're gluttonous about? Handbags? I just got back from a trip to Irvine, California, and I went to the Shelby Museum, and their owners, God bless them, but they had, I don't know, 40, 50, 80 different Ford Shelbys, and they turned them into a museum. But, not judging that particular couple, I'm just thinking to myself, is that gluttonous? I mean, what's the point of having all of those things. But I put that aside. Gluttony isn't the purpose of this particular video, but the idea of our need to control our flesh only happens when we strengthen our spirit. And did you know that the brain cannot process in the negative? It actually has to kind of do this flip around really quickly. So if you say, don't drop the milk, and you say that to your child, you say, don't drop the milk, don't drop the milk. And the kid's going to, because the brain doesn't process the don't. It just processes drop the milk, drop. It hears the verb, drop the milk, drop the milk, drop the milk. So instead of saying, don't drop the milk, you say to your child, hold tight, hold tight. And the verb, the brain hears, hold tight, hold tight. So in telling yourselves, I don't want to be proud, I don't want to be glutton, I don't want to be that, you're focusing on the negative when you should be focusing on, Lord, help me to have more temperance. Or if you struggle with pride, Lord, help me to have humility. I remember praying, Lord, help me to have humility, but don't let me be humiliated. Well, the Lord was kind of like, that's not exactly how that works. And some of the biggest people, the biggest names, I think of, gosh, you're probably too young to remember, like Jim and Tammy Faye Baker 30 years ago when their Protestant empire failed. They'd gotten so big in their pants, proud of what they did, and they fell hard. But I do believe they found some humility. I think I saw some videos of Jim Baker finding humility. Good for him, because he was a Christian. But if you go up hard, you go up big, you're going to come down hard. Welcome the humility. See, a virtue is the disposition to do the good and to avoid evil. And you watching my videos tend to be those who want to get to that next level in your faith. In order to do that, now you need to start refining yourself. You probably go to confession like, I don't really have anything to confess. I just have some venial sins, maybe. Well, now you need to start working on these. When is the last time you confessed your pride, your anger, your lust, your gluttony, your sloth? Harvey Weinstein fell because he didn't temper his lust. He didn't temper his lack of self-control. Epstein, all the big guys, right? You may not be a big guy, but all of those guys started small and it got big. We are failing as a society because of lack of virtue. That's really it at a core. We're failing because of lack of virtue. Remember the disposition to do the good and to avoid evil. We're failing because we're not really trying to do the good. We're not really trying to avoid evil. We're just trying to do our own thing. But it doesn't work like that. Are you asking the Lord to help you become more virtuous? Look at the list of the 7 deadly sins. I have mine right here. I have them. And I'm like, Lord, which one do you want me to work at? I actually right here, I have the virtues, the 7 ones. Humility, which is actually a low view of your own importance. Doesn't mean to think low of yourself. Oh, I'm a loser. Just think low of your importance. I'm not important. You're not important. Only God is important. But you are valued. You're made in the image and likeness of God. That means you have immeasurable value. Generosity, the opposite of greed. Chastity, the opposite of lust. Meekness, which is, I can't even read my own handwriting here, submitting to the desire of others, right? And Jesus did that well when he was being questioned by Pontius Pilate, and he was just standing there silent. Some people would say, are you weak? That took incredible strength. He wasn't submitting to the desire of Pontius Pilate. How many of you have the strength to remain silent when you know you're right? Temperance, I've already talked about. Kindness. Are you snarky? Are you sarcastic? Are you an unkind person? You have that edge about you. What do people say? Because you need to increase that. It's not all about you. It is about the world. We watching my videos We are the ones that have to fix ourselves first because we're the ones that profess to be Christians. And remember what it says in the Bible, when my people who are called by my name, he's not talking about the atheists. He's not talking about the Muslims. He's not talking about the Buddhists. When my people who are called by my name, when they humble themselves. So you young lady, young man watching this video, you need to humble yourself. I need to humble myself. I need to recognize that I am nothing. And I am so broken. Let's focus on being virtuous individuals. I mean, with everything you have, pick one of those virtues. And I bet right now, while I'm speaking, there's one of them that keeps coming to you. And maybe you're trying to push that out of your head, but that's the Holy Spirit. Each of you has something different that you need to be focusing on. What's yours? And how do you plan to ask the Lord for the grace of the virtue to help weaken the vice that traps you most often? Let's weaken those vices. Let's strengthen our virtues. And let's be the people called by his name that start changing the world. Because once his people who are called by his name humble themselves, that's when God can really begin his work and change the rest of the world. If you like what you've seen, please remember to like, subscribe, share. I really need your help. And if you could contribute whatever you can for my ministry. All I want to do is save 1 million marriages before I die, which actually translates into saving 1 million souls. I want to die. I want to go to heaven. I want Jesus to point to various people who are saved because of something that came out of my humble mouth. And I can do so much more with your dollars and your help and your prayers. And by the way, when you die, he'll say that to you because you gave that $5 to this person or that person, or maybe Christine Bacon. You help save this soul. What a great day that'll be, won't it? I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching this Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.